Nikola Jokic is this generation's Magic Johnson. We've all known that Nikola Jokic was a really good player for a decent amount of time now, but during this playoff run, Nikola Jokic took his game to the next level, as he played extremely well in basically each and every game of this year's playoffs, and due to that, he led his team to the NBA Finals and even led his team to a Game 1 victory over the Miami Heat in the Finals. And I think due to the amount of success the Nuggets have had this season, alongside with the way Nikola Jokic is playing, I truly think that Jokic is this generation's Magic Johnson. But quickly, before we get the video started, for those of you who may not know, I'm Juicy Sports. I make opinionated NBA content, and if you guys enjoy videos similar to this, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that post notification bell. I also want to quickly mention that I recently started up an MMA channel, and if you guys are interested in that, the link will be in the description. But anyways, let's get into it. Nikola Jokic has always been one of the better players in the NBA for a decent amount of time now. And although a lot of fans recognize this guy to be one of the better guys in the NBA, I didn't necessarily think people realized how truly good this guy is. And I think a huge reason for that was during previous years, Jokic always played really well during the playoffs, but his team in the Denver Nuggets were never able to make it all that far in the playoffs, or as far as they eventually wanted to. But during this year's playoffs, a lot of things have changed. Not only is Jokic getting a lot more help from his other guys on his roster, but also when you look at Nikola Jokic individually, he's playing at a completely different level. Because in the previous year's playoffs, Jokic always played really well. But when you look at his performances during this year's playoffs, he just took that to another level. And I think what we're seeing from him at this point is something that we've never seen before. We've never seen a guy who plays a center position that's as skilled as Nikola Jokic is. Because not only does he have the capability to score from all three levels, but he also does a tremendous job at facilitating, and he's one of the best passers and playmakers in the NBA period. And I think you can make the argument that he's the best, and he plays the center position. But the question that some of you may be asking at this point is, why do I consider Nikola Jokic to be this generation's Magic Johnson? Now, the first factor has to be his passing and playmaking ability. As I mentioned before in the video, Nikola Jokic is one of the best passers and playmakers in the NBA. He's not just a guy who can find open players when he gets doubled or triple teamed. He's a guy that can truly run your offense, and it's always known whenever you play with Nikola Jokic, you're gonna get a ton of easy looks out there, whether that means a catch and shoot 3-point jump shot or a backdoor cut to the basket for a wide open dunk or layup. But whenever you play with Nikola Jokic, you're gonna get those easy looks, and that's what makes him so great. In my opinion, the reason for why Jokic is such a great passer and playmaker, besides the obvious that he has a great basketball IQ, is the fact that he's also such a great scorer out there. And I think those two aspects really balance out very well. Because when Nikola Jokic is breaking down the defense and scoring at will, the opposing teams would eventually need to throw double or triple teams at him. But as soon as that happens, Jokic has that great basketball IQ and understanding to always find the wide open guy for easy dunks or layups or wide open catch and shoot 3-point jump shots. And in my opinion, that's one of the main factors that makes Jokic so great out there. He just has that great balance between scoring and passing and playmaking, and that just makes it so difficult to guard this guy. But the next factor for why I think Nikola Jokic is this generation's Magic Johnson is due to his scoring ability. Now, when you look at Magic Johnson back in the day, he was known as a pass-first guy, but he also had a really nice ability to score. And when you look at Nikola Jokic, I see him in that exact same regard. I see Jokic as a pass-first guy, but obviously he has a tremendous ability to score out there. He has the ability to put up 30+ points on any given night, and he does so in a vast amount of ways. In terms of his 3-point jump shot, Nikola Jokic has a really good one. He has a great ability to hit that catch and shoot 3-point jump shot, and he even has somewhat of an ability to create for himself from that 3-point range. But moving on to his mid-range shooting ability, this is also a great aspect of his game. As Jokic has a great ability to catch and shoot from that mid-range, he also has an ability to create for himself in terms of crossover, sometimes even sidestep or step back from that mid-range area as well. But the best aspect of Jokic's game from that mid-range mid-range area is definitely his post turnaround fadeaway, because not only is he extremely tall out there and has a great wingspan, but also when you look at his jump shot form, it's very high above his head, making it virtually impossible to block the shot and also virtually impossible to get a good contest on a well-performed post turnaround fadeaway. And that's something that Jokic does very effectively a lot of the time out there. But moving on to his driving and finishing ability, this is also a great aspect of Jokic's game, as he has a great ability to dribble for the center position, or really just in general. So he has the ability to take the ball from the top of the key all the way to the basket and finish around players with crafty layups, either his left or right hand, and also has the ability and strength to finish through contact and get N1 finishes as well. But in terms of his post-up game, Jokic also does this very effectively, as he has nice baby floaters in the post, he has nice hook shots either with his left or right hand, and overall I would say in terms of all three levels of the game, in terms of the three-point jump shot, in terms of the mid-range jump shot, alongside with his post ability, Nikola Jokic has everything down. And in my opinion, he's very close to being the perfect player out there, because not only does he do a great job at scoring for himself in a lot of different ways, but he does so throughout the flow of the offense, and he also makes everybody around him better. So he would match very effectively with basically any star out there, making him that much more valuable to the Denver Nuggets as well. But the question at this point is, where do I see the Denver Nuggets going in the rest of this finals matchup? Well, going into this finals matchup, I thought it would be relatively close, but at the end of the day, I just thought the overall firepower that the Nuggets had would eventually be too much and they would eventually win the series. And after the Nuggets won game 1, I still hold that same sentiment. I don't necessarily want to count the Heat out, as it only has been one game, and a lot of people aren't giving the Heat any credit at all, and they don't think they really have any chance to win the series, and I don't necessarily agree with that. But with that being said, I still do think the Nuggets are going to win the series. I think they're going to win it in 6 games, and I think the way they're going to win it is off the backs of great performances from their star guys, both Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. I think both of those guys have proven the ability to play extremely well during this year's playoffs, and it seems like their performances are only getting better with every game that passes. Now, of course, there are a couple things that the Nuggets need to worry about, like Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler and Caleb Martin as well, and the overall great play that the Miami Heat have been showing so far throughout these playoffs. But overall, I just think due to the overall firepower that the Nuggets have, the fact that they actually are very well coached, and some other factors as well, would just lead them to win this series and would just lead them to win this year's NBA Finals, and would be the first ever NBA championship win in Denver Nuggets history. And also the great thing about this Denver Nuggets team is if they're able to win this year's NBA championship, they're only going to get better with time, because most of the guys they have on their roster are relatively young, and when you look at their 2 stars in Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, of course they have a ton of years ahead of them. So that's an extremely exciting part about this Nuggets team, is they're probably only going to get better. But I guess only time will tell what does end up happening throughout the rest of this series. But one thing that I will say is I am extremely excited to see the play of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray alongside with just the rest of the series. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Nikola Jokic is this generation's Magic Johnson, or do you not think so? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, check one of these 2 videos popping up now, and until the next time, peace out guys.